Hi, everybody. This is Vladimira Kuna, and I have a very special guest who I actually met lately in London. And I've got his amazing book, which he's going to be talking about, Blackjack for Casual Player, which is me, beginner. And Steve has just published the book. It's fantastic. And I love how people can have, with an awareness, how you can have fun and really do things that really makes understanding what you're doing. And hi, Steve, welcome.
Hello, how are you? Thank you very much for this time.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd love you to explain this book because it's so much more than just a game. And we had an amazing conversation while we actually had the lunch in London. And, I could listen to Steve for much longer than we actually have time today. So I absolutely encourage everyone to reach out to him, which all the links will be available, and actually find out more because it really is fascinating. So I'd love to start with, could you tell us a little bit about the book? Because it has a fascinating subject.
It is. I do like playing blackjack, but what this book really is a game plan for people on how to play. And let me explain that. It's kind of a sports terminology, but it's kind of like if you go into a soccer game, football game, whatever. If you don't have a game plan, I don't think you're going to do very well. This provides that game plan for you. And I see a lot of people in casinos that just walk up, start playing games. They have no idea half the time what's going on. And again, it's going to end in disaster for them. I'm almost guaranteed. The book is based on two major things, and it's knowledge and discipline. Knowledge is the way to play the game. There is a specific way to play the game that has been proven by statistics back to the 1960s. So it would really help if you knew how to do that, because it would really increase your chance of enjoying the game and being successful. The discipline part of it is following the game plan I have outlined that basically keeps you very organized. And the subtitle on my book is how to stay in complete control of your money and your game. And that's what I tried to do in this book. And I think it's turned out pretty well. So yeah.
I love when we were talking previously, and you said that it's something you've just wanted to do for yourself, isn't it? Because you wanted to learn, and you've learned over the years, and now to share the experience. Because when you understand something, it's easy, isn't it? It's just when we don't have awareness how something works, it doesn't mean it's not working. It just doesn't work for us.
That's right.
So how did you develop your game plan?
Well, it was really funny. It came out of an incredible amount of frustration. And I know that's kind of a negative term, but sometimes frustration and things like this can actually get you thinking and moving on to something better. I define myself, like the book says, as a casual player. I don't play a whole lot. I have a very, very busy life with family and more than one job and everything else going on. But I like to relax and go down and play a little blackjack, get the vibe of the casino, talk to some people and stuff like this. I really enjoy it. For me, it's like people go on a day at the beach. I just enjoy it. So that's what I mean by a casual player. I don't play all the time. I would never be considered a professional player. But at the same time, personally, I'm very financially conservative. I am a CPA by trade, and I don't like throwing my money around uselessly. So that's part of it. On the other side, I've played sports my whole life, and I'm very competitive. And I get into a game, I want to win it, and I don't care what game it is. So you put those two things together, and that's kind of what went into my book. And I got really, like I said, I got really frustrated. I've been playing for quite a while. I've read every book on the subject back in the day. And I said, my God, I must be an expert, right? And then you go and you don't have the success you want. So I was really frustrated that I couldn't go into a casino, have something very simple to follow that would be successful. And if I did that, then there would be no anxiousness about going in there. I knew I had something that was very solid, something I would play, and in the long term, I would come out ahead. And I didn't have that. So here I am. I'm driving to a casino one day. It's about an hour away, and I'm having this discussion with myself. And I'm basically not being very nice to myself, saying, how could you do this for so long? And you haven't been able to figure out this, and blah, 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 on and on and on and on. And then out of nowhere, this idea came to me. And I said, oh, well, that's kind of weird. nah, this will never work. It's way too simple, way too simple. So I thought about it a little more, thought about it, and I said, this may have a chance. So I went and I took some money out and I said, okay, this is it. I've had it. I'm going to try this thing, maybe add a few more things to it or whatever, and give it a try, see how it works. And if it doesn't work and I'm still frustrated, give it up. Go find something that doesn't give you a negative emotion at the end of it and keep going. So I tried it out and I went, my God, seems to be working. This is pretty good. And I judge it by tables. So after the third table I played using this new system I kind of dreamed up in my head, I've been ahead and I've never been in the negative ever since. And that money I took out, I never really used. And I kind of went, wow, this is pretty good. Now I got off to a very good start. And that could have just been a fluke, who knows? But it's worked out very well. And I just can't believe how well it works and how simple it is. And yeah, I've explained it to people and they said, nah, that'll never work. But it does.
Yeah.
So that's basically where it came from.
I love when you say that you were frustrated, and I've written down a note, dissatisfaction actually stimulates growth. We know this from the studies we do together as well. It's when you stop growing, you stop living. And the curiosity and the fun, we want to bring an easiness, we want to bring into our life. And I think the greatest people who came up with the greatest inventions or ideas and taken action, of course, are those who actually were not happy, or they were dissatisfied. They just wanted to find an easier and more fun way to do it, because there's always easier and more fun of doing things. And we just like overcomplicate things, don't we, sometimes?
Oh my God, we really do. And sometimes I'll go to a casino and it's not very busy, and I'll sit there playing, and the dealers, I've had 2 or 3 dealers ask me, and when it's not very busy, they said, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? I said, you come here, you're the most relaxed guy I've ever seen playing these games. Usually people are tense and all this. So I explained to them what I do. And there's been 2 of the pit bosses or the manager over the games come and ask me the same question. And I tell them the same thing. And the reactions to all of them have been exactly the same. They said, if everybody played the way you did, we'd be out of business. Yep. So,
which is great to hear, because if people follow your game plan, there's a good.
And these are from people that are in the industry and have kind of seen everything. So yeah, it was interesting to know. I said, so when you see me, yeah, no, I haven't been drinking. I haven't been I'm just very relaxed playing. This is a day at the beach for me. So, and they kind of laughed.
You playing it in real ones. For whom did you write this book? Like, is there a certain audience that you have in mind?
Well, I actually wrote it at the urging of friends, because when I told them what I did and all this, they said, well, you should spread the word. I mean, if this thing works for you and whatever. So I would think it's in a sense, it's for experienced players that were in the same position I was, that knew the game, knew how to play really well and all this. But for some reason, it just wasn't coming together and they didn't have a good game plan to follow. At the same time, it's for the inexperienced player that wants to start out and learn how to play. If you get the book, read it, and go through everything, you're going to miss a whole heap of trouble that I went through and all the mistakes I made and kind of wandering all over the place and all this. You're going to miss all of that. So you're going to shortcut a lot of all the mistakes I made. So
I love that. I love following masters who just done all the work for years of experience and troubles and actually cut it down and bring it to us. And it's such a great way to share, actually. Would you say, out of all the games you found in casino, can you tell us why you chose to specifically focus on the blackjack?
Well, I really like the game. I mean, to watch it being played and the fact that you're an active participant in it. So in other words, you just don't accept the card you're given. You get to decide if you want more, if you don't want more, whatever. There's a lot of different things you can do. And I kind of like that I've got some say in what happens. At the same time, too, when you play the game, it's called basic strategy, is following the statistical way to play the game. If you do that, you should, over the long run, come within about 0.5% of the casino. So in other words, the casino will have an advantage of 50.1 or 50.5% over you. And that's really little. I mean, it's only a 0.5% advantage they have if you play the game right. So I guess I like that, because some of the games you go into, the percentage in favor of the casino is actually quite high. So it's really hard to overcome this. And blackjack, if you play it properly, you can come pretty much even with the casino.
Oh, nice. I like that. You know, I only play blackjack twice a year, and that's on a school's ball. So my next question would be, and I'm actually there whole evening, you know, like I'm not really at the dance floor. I'm at blackjack and just sitting there. I always have you know, like when people say when I go to casino first time, it's a beginner's luck. I seem I have that twice a year, not even knowing what I'm doing. But what would you have any specific advice for beginners, or for beginners of blackjack players, when you develop the blackjack strategy?
Yeah, that the main thing is like I said in the book, is the main thing for them would be knowledge. Learn the basic strategy and learn to play it perfectly. Don't go on hunches and all this. Stick to the statistics that have been proven over and over again that'll get you close to that 0.5% disadvantage or whatever. And other than that, learn the game plan I've got and practice it. And in the book, I talk about different ways you can practice it, learn it, and all this. But I should point out as well, in the jurisdiction I play in most of the time, what they do is the dealers play out of, you're at a game and there's 6 decks involved. So they play with 6 decks, and out of that 6 decks, they continually shuffle. So in other words, they'll take out 2 or 3 hands and put them back in, and they all get reshuffled again. Everybody has heard in blackjack, the only way you can win is by counting cards and being an advantage player. And, you know, that's true. That works. But it doesn't work in this jurisdiction when they're continually shuffling the cards, because every hand's a new one type thing. So I don't play in that. I don't count cards because it's useless in the area I play. Go to Vegas if you really want to get into that, because they have all the different types of games where you could probably do that. But it doesn't work here. So this book is based on a game plan of where you don't need to do the counting cards. Plus, it's difficult. I'm a casual player. God, I'm not going to sit around and try to figure all that out. I've never had a big interest in that. So
it's fascinating, because, you know, we already talked before, but I never knew that there are different jurisdictions which actually have a different strategy of how to play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and different rules. And you were saying that you go to like a charity thing and play blackjack. Charities change the rules even more. So it's almost impossible to win at those ones. Yeah, they do. And some places, anytime it says charity, really check out the rules, because they change it from what's in the normal casinos. So
that is a very good advice as well, because, you know, like next time I'll be coming there with the book. Going, hold on a second, let me check.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you can go to a casino, and even if it's a charity thing, you know, you're there for charity to give them money anyway. So why not play around and do it and that sort of thing? But if you're at all serious about your game and what you're doing, the charity place is not the place to be. So
that is so true. And, you know, I just love it like you. I love to have fun, but I don't seem to be addicted, like really. But as we talked before, it's really easily to lose lots of money, because you just get so hooked up into it, and it just kind of draws you, and just like one more time and one more time. This time I'm gonna get it. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's really easy to get into a lot of trouble.
Well, some of the feedback I've got from experienced players said, I really like the way you've laid out the way when you leave a table, because it's so important. Because the way I've organized this is that if you're in a winning streak or whatever, because gambling is all streaks. And what I mean by that is, if you take a coin and flip it 10 times, you should have 5 heads and 5 tails. It never works out that way. It's 8 and 2, 7 and 3, 6, whatever. So sometimes you get in these streaks where, it's very positive, but you know, in the long run, it's going to be 50-50. So what this game plan does, it keeps you in the game when you're in a positive streak. But if you get into a negative streak, it kicks you out of the game. And that's the important thing, when to leave.
Yeah. You know, that leads me to my next question, which is really something close to my heart, is like when you mentioned the importance of visualization, obviously being working with the mindset, in your own personal methodology, in your own for playing a blackjack. Can you tell us a little bit about how readers can apply this to the other aspects of their life?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it all comes down to goals. I personally have goals in a lot of different areas of my life. And usually when I tell people, they start laughing because the goals are so far out there and so large. They said, well, that'll never happen. Da, 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 da. I said, well, that's why I don't tell anyone anymore, because I don't need the abuse. But I have that for every part of my life. And blackjack is basically a small part of my life. And I have goals for that as well. And once you have those goals, those far-reaching goals, it's really important to visualize what's going to happen. And so I visualize being in a casino, winning lots of hands, my doubles, my splits, all that sort of stuff. That, yeah, I'm winning all those. And, you know, I visualize the dealer pushing lots of chips my way and stuff like this. And I do that all the time before I go into a casino. And it just sets the mood a lot better inside you. You're almost trying to preempt what's going to happen. It's great. So
I could not agree more, and especially teaching that mindset is 95% of your success. That was
really
a great
is.
Answer. It really is the feeling. You already feel the win. You feel that you own it. You feel the happy enjoyment and fun in the game.
Right.
And it also knowing the rules. It's because of the methodology you like, the strategy you developed. Isn't it great that actually keeps you in the relaxed state so you can enjoy this more?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I enjoy it so much. I'm there. I like to play at tables that are fun with people that are good. You get people in casinos that are all uptight and that sort of stuff. I really don't have time for people like that because it's kind of a downer. So I enjoy the environment, and the dealers are usually very nice people, and you know, and a lot of the players are too. It's like I said, I go down there. It's like a day at the beach. I just enjoy myself, and I know my system works. Now, I should also point out in my book here, I record every table very accurately. So I sit down with so many units to play, and I play, and either I win or lose. Well, in the book, I played, like, I think it's 442 tables. And the funny thing is, I lost at 50 more than I won at. So you would think that would be pretty negative. Well, it's not, because the system tells you when to get out of a game. My loss on the tables that I lost at was like 1.5 units, but on the ones I won at was like 3.5. And that difference was enough to give me an overall win. And I got confidence in that. And sometimes you go through streaks where you for some reason you can't see that you can ever win at a table, and you figure, oh my God, it's never going to work and the world's coming apart and all this. Well, you stick with it. And that's why you keep good records, because if you keep records, you'll say, oh yeah, you're on a pretty bad streak. You lost 5 tables in a row or whatever. But remember a month ago when you won 6 in a row or 8 in a row or something. So it all works out. And sometimes when you do lose at a table, it's so minuscule so it basically doesn't come into it, but sometimes you can win pretty big. So
I love that you're keeping records. I think it's so important with every aspect of our life, isn't it? To kind of see, and is it Wayne Gretzky who said, you only lose the shots you don't take?
That's
right. It's not about winning or losing. You're actually winning by even losing because you're learning and figuring out the better strategy or something that works better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I think it's so important. And I look at it all the time, especially if you get to a point you're feeling down a little. I look at my record and I go, oh my God, what am I feeling bad about? This is great. This is what I wanted right from the beginning. And
you replace it with, I'm so amazing.
Well, it worked out for me.
Fantastic.
And again, like we talked about before, the frustration can work to positive movement going ahead. And it works in a lot of different areas of your life. And like the goal setting, sometimes we set goals, we don't even know what we're doing. And all of a sudden we go, my God, you know, I did this, whatever it was, and I didn't expect I'd ever be able to do it. Well, you're actually doing all these steps unconsciously without knowing it.
So true. So, that is so, and most of the people actually manifest their dreams and goals unconsciously. You know, it's the unconscious competence, it's called, isn't it? So
yeah. Yeah,
But
it's
it's
and we've all
great to
done
have
it.
it's great to have an awareness when you actually come to these things.
Hmm.
Like, because
Yeah.
as you explained, it's really, it can be a dangerous place to be if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh my God, it's terrifying. Yeah, it is. So, anyways, I think record keeping is very important, and you got to be honest with yourself too. And a lot of people kind of, yeah, I'm not going to count that one because I didn't do so well. Well, you count them all and just see what happens. You've got to have a realistic review of what you've actually done. So,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
I know you're
So,
super busy, but do you have any plans to write about different types of games in the future?
no, not really. But basically, the fundamentals I have in this would apply to them all. And I got to tell you a story. My years and years ago, I don't even think I'd been to a casino yet. But my mother was going to Vegas and she didn't know anything. She was very anxious. So I bought her a big, thick book on all the different games you can play and asked her to read them and all this. And she said, well, I think, oh, excuse me. She goes, I think I'm just going to maybe play slots and do stuff like this because she was very anxious about it. Right. So I actually wrote her out a plan that said, here, do this and work it this way and see what happens. And after so much time or whatever, you just leave. You just get up and leave, see what you've got and see how you did it. And she came back and I gave her $100 to try it. And she came back, gave me 120. And I said, wow. She goes, this thing you did really worked. And I mean, let's face it, slot machines are like a coin flip anyway. And she goes, no, but she says, and I tried it again, and sometimes I didn't win, and da 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 da. But she said, you know, I was in complete control of what I was doing. I didn't get carried away by the machine. I didn't get carried away with what was going on in the casino because it's all very busy. I basically stuck to the plan, and I really enjoyed myself because of it. So the
And
same
there's the
principles
key. There
are
is
in
the
here.
key to the whole thing that you just said. It's like when you
Yep.
stay in control, it's like staying in control of your mind, staying in control of everything that's happening around you. You find joy because there doesn't have to be any frustration of losing lots of money, and you actually enjoy that.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's just really important, I believe. And since I've started doing it, I have no anxiousness about walking into casinos or anything. I feel great about it. So it's fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are the takeaways that your reader will gain after reading your book?
I think the best thing is just to get the knowledge down and know what you're doing. Just don't go in there blindly and think you're going to come out of there winning all this money and all this sort of stuff. And again, the other thing is it's your money. I have a story in the book about not about gambling, actually. It's a personal one. A friend of mine had left a job, and a few months later, he got a check, and it was totally unexpected. He got this check, so it was kind of a windfall for him because he didn't expect it. And he said, "What do you think I should do?" I think I should go put it in this high risk investment and da da da. And I said, "Hold on a second here. You got this. You didn't expect it, but you still earned it. And if you get money like that, it's earned and it's yours." And so my recommendation would be to invest it in everything and in the normal way you invest things. You want to take a bit out and play, go ahead. And I told him it's the same thing I do in gambling. When I win a hand, that's earned money. I'm not playing with the casino's money, all these terms that you hear. It's my money, and I'm going to protect that like I protect everything else. And it's funny. It was I don't know, it was about 4 or 5 months ago. He actually mentioned that conversation to me, which was probably 20 years ago at least. And he says, "Yeah, you know, I've been thinking about that, and you're right. And I'm really glad what I did." And I said, "Did you ever find out what happened to that other investment you were going to put it in?" And he said, "No, I never checked because I was confident in what I was doing." And that's very important in the gambling too. When it's time to get up and leave a table, you don't stick around and look and see what happened because it'll bring out all these doubts and all this. You got a plan, you got to think working. And it doesn't matter what happens before or after.
Yeah, it's so important. It's like looking back in the past and keep sorting out what, just live in the present and making new decisions. So important. And you know, something came up while you were talking. It's because sometimes when we hold these, what do you call them, the jetons, or you know, the circles. See, I'm not really a pro, but we don't feel that that's actually money. You know, we come there and say, "Oh, we just get all these little what do you call the
Yep.
circles? And
Little
it
chips.
doesn't feel like, oh, chips there. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. And you
Yes.
have all the chips and you sort of almost forget that actually it's your money.
That's right. Yeah, it is money. And trust me, the casinos do that on purpose. They do it on purpose to desensitize you to the money you're actually spending out there. And it works for them.
Yeah.
They do very well, because usually people keep playing until they're gone. And that's not a good thing to do, because you're throwing your money away.
That is so true, isn't it? Isn't it like how actually holding the real physical money makes you be more aware of how much you're spending? It's like with credit cards. It's so much easier to just keep tapping than if you actually take the cash out each time. You're really careful how you're spending money. Well, I can speak from my experience. It's easy to be paying by cards, and I watch what I do when I actually take out the cash and manage that.
Right. Yeah. Oh no, it's so true. It is so true. So yeah.
So where can people find? I will put all your links in under the video, so they can just go and follow Steve for any more. He's got more information. You can reach out to him. But where can they find out more about you and your books?
Well, the book is on Amazon, so you could look there. And I have a website, stevefalkner.com. And I got blogs on there. I'm going to start a podcast soon. A lot of other things going on. So it's fun. It's a nice extension from a hobby I have that I play casually, because I've, like I said, I got such a busy life. It's just a nice takeaway from everything else that's going on. So
it's so important, isn't it? And
I think so. Yeah. So
any final thoughts on you could share with us?
Well, the other thing that's really big, and I've noticed this by looking at websites and that, mainly in the UK, and that is social responsibility is a big thing. So casinos are basically run by whatever political jurisdiction you're in. In North America, it's state or provincial laws or even federal laws. And they tell the casinos, you have to put in so many things to help people protect themselves against each other. So you see around the casinos, you see hotlines if you think you have a problem, and sometimes they do little education things on how to play properly and all this sort of stuff. And they do that probably because they have to, according to their licensing, but they have to take on these sort of things to help. I mean, the casinos, yeah, they're in business, they're in money and that, but they don't want to destroy people either. So they will do little things to help prevent that, because they can see these things a mile away. So I think that's really good. But I think my book fits into that as well. You learn a good game plan. If you have the discipline to follow it, then you're going to be okay, because you will be in control of your money the whole time, and your behavior and your emotion while you're in there. So I think that is, I think it fits right into the social responsibility of casinos and your own personal responsibility. I mean, hey, money is scarce these days, and when you listen to a lot of people, and you got to protect your money. You know, you got family and other obligations to do. I mean, they're far more important than this. So be responsible.
Oh, that is so beautiful, and it's so true. It really is true. Because when we do things for fun, it's just so much better. So thank you so much, Steve, for coming and sharing with us all this amazing stuff. And I will put all Steve's connections as well, but you can find him at stevefalkner.com or go and get the book on Amazon. I've got a signed copy. Thank you. I will 100% use it, because actually Las Vegas, I've been twice, played just tried, and once we actually entered with my little son, which we didn't realize, and they were just like, you cannot have a baby in a casino.
That's right.
So we just had to quickly exit. And
yeah, that's a way to get attention. Take a minor out on the floor, you'll get lots of attention then.
We had all these guys coming towards us, and thinking like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, what a great greeting.
So the baby could smell the atmosphere.
That's right. Yeah, that's funny.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and I'm really grateful for all this advice, and we'll speak to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.